Hi there.
Hi.
Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Ken. It's just for the trans.
We have to
Okay, be good. Be good here. Okay.
Hi. So we got Jakhongir Normatov here. He's our longtime student who's been working and studying at the same time in RZ. And today he's present, but no longer works.
Yeah, I used to be a teacher here, but thanks for having me.
That's cool. That's cool. So now I want you to talk about the period of yours in studying RZ, whatever. Can you tell us what made you study English?
Not really. Let's say what situation put me in here. So basically, my mom.
Yeah.
So what she did is, everybody is on English trend at that point. Well, everyone is still just the same way. But back in time when we used to work in a shop, I remember my mom used to be like, we have to study anything, right? Something at the very least. And then I remember my brother used to study English at that time, but he used to study a lot of things at the same time. So he used to study English and he used to study here. I mean, the older center. But back in time, it was called CIP. Don't know the.
What does that stand for again?
I really don't know. That's better off with an abbreviation. Intellectual something. I don't know. So my brother used to study here, and then he stopped, but he had good feedback from it. A lot of people from my school as well used to study here. So my mom made me do it. I came to the center. Don't really like my first year because it was I was lazy at that time. The first year, the beginning, but after that it was better off with the better results and stuff because the teachers changed. Yeah, overall not my decision, my mom's.
So
but I don't regret it.
How about the impression of the place, teachers and stuff, the quality of the English?
Beginning first year, it was not that good, honestly. Back in time, it was not that good because the teachers and everything, was not that level. That maybe I'm just bad because I was bad in the first year. I was lazy, accepting it, and I had a couple of teachers, about 3, I guess. I don't remember the names of all the teachers I had, but whoever it was, I was lazy. They tried to push me, but I was not going for it. And then once when my own teacher, like the long-time teacher Jakhongir came by, that time he was not a teacher yet. He came by and he did a testing lesson, and the testing lesson was done for us, the students of the other teacher who used to work at that time. And then Jakhongir did a testing teaching session. Us who are lazy and stuff, thinking that we were smart, didn't know nothing, and we hated him at that time. We were like looking at him laughing, what's he here? We don't like the teacher or something, even if it's a testing session. And afterwards, once our teacher at that time got fired or whatever she did, like got married or something, I don't know, then Jakhongir picked us up. And then he broke the group into like 2 groups. We were a beginner back then. So he broke the group into A and B, and that time I started to study somehow.
Because you like the teacher, right?
I don't think it's about liking the teacher only. It was the way he, discipline-wise, or the way he used to make it study. And I had, my portion of motivation at school and home and everywhere else. So it's just like the whole impact overall was like combined, and it made me study. There's a lot to talk about at that point.
I get it. So now you're telling me that you started working on yourself from beginner. What exactly helped you hone your skills in terms of English? Speaking and stuff.
Well, as I said, the portion of motivation. If not getting into specifics, but if you'd like, I can. But whatever made me hone my English is mainly practice. I suppose practice. He's your teacher.
Yeah, I know.
He's been your teacher for a while as well. So the practice is the main part. It's not about just the lessons. If you have the lessons, fair enough. I've been a teacher myself, so I know how it works. Practice is the main part because if you, let's say, learn some specific grammar, and afterwards, if you don't apply it anywhere, it doesn't make sense. It's like learning how to, I don't know, let's say you learn how to drive a car, but if you don't drive it for a while, let's say a year or 2, and then get back on driving, it's gonna feel weird because you haven't been driving for a while. It's like it's the same with language. If you learn the language, let's say I learned Spanish for a little bit, and I practiced a little bit, right? And then I don't have anyone to talk to, and afterwards, a year after, I won't even remember a word. Oh, I have an example for it, a great example at this point. I have a friend at work who knows Italian, who studies in the Turin. I don't remember the
University.
exact Torino, like the Torino University. So it's Italian basically. So he learned Italian to study there. He knew it. Well, he kind of knows it still, but he doesn't have anyone to practice it with. So he forgot the language.
I get it.
So as apparent as it is, the honing part is I learned it through just practicing debates, competition, the Sunday events we have here. So we still have it, really devise it. That's the best thing you can have. And afterwards, at one point, probably move on to other, levels of practice. Just like there's that, a structure of practicing you might have just outside even the center. But more on that later, I guess.
Yeah, I get it. The CR7 says practice makes perfect. That's the point. So the next question. You got IELTS with 8.5 speaking. Not everybody's able to get that. You were the first one getting 8.5 from speaking in our center or whatever. So can you talk about impressions and how you did that?
First thing, it was not only me. It was me and Ramziddin. And the other teacher who still teaches here advised to go to his lessons because he's good. Back in time, we were not having enough, of each other, but still, like we used to study together, by the way.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, 8.5. I mean, how does it feel like? Do you mean that?
Yeah, I'm just asking questions.
I don't know. Back in time, it felt like a great achievement, but at this point, it doesn't really.
Yeah,
I suppose at this point, like getting IELTS, like a higher score, might be easier, but depends on the way you study. Because most of the people are getting high scores now. But we had a challenge yesterday, right? We put a bet that I would get 9 without any practice.
Overall.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about it, but we'll see. We'll see. I didn't make my decision on it, but probably will. If I say even no at this point, I'll take a bet a little later when I think that it's a good time. I won't. So what we had yesterday with my teacher Jakhongir is that we took a bet saying I will take the closest date for IELTS and don't practice and I'll get 9. And I was like, you gonna bet? He's like, yes. I'm like, okay. And it's not like he doesn't believe in me. It's not like he doesn't believe in me, but he just took on me because he just wants me to do it. You get it? Because it's like a push.
Yeah.
Nobody else would take it. Nobody else would take it, but he will, knowing it's a push for me, so that I will, do it actually.
Yeah, I get it.
So back in time, it was a great achievement, but now you can get better. I mean, time passed. Right?
I hope so. So I've heard a lot of people telling that after studying English, their personality changed and a lot of changes started to appear. So I really want to talk about that because I knew in the past and afterwards you got into English, everything changed in you. So can you talk about a change in you? I don't know, after English.
English as an overall, not just a language. It's like, okay, English is not just a language, it's like a pathway. It like opens you doors, right?
A lot of doors.
So what it opened me into is that European side, European culture, overall America, USA, I mean, even not actually only USA, England, Europe overall, because I know English, and then I started getting into more English stuff because it's an international language, right? As far as it goes, and even though it's not the first, it's not the top one language, the most spoken language is Spanish.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's funny. Not many people know Spanish, but it's top, well-known language. So English opened me pathways. My personality changed because of Europe. English material, watching YouTube. Everything on my phone is English. Everything I lived my life through was English, even though I'm Uzbekistan. So as far as I know, the Russian as well, but more of English opened the pathway. Even talking about social media, or let's say talk about English content, Friends, the sitcom, it was one of the predominant impact. It had the predominant impact in my European side, because France had this real US, real American kind, how to say, expression like people. You get it? So there are 6 people in there, 3 girls and 3 men. So all of them have different characters, and they have their own sides and the way they talk. So all of them impacted me the way they did, having this expression that I have now. Even moving hands, even the way I talk, even the way that you pick up on that. You watch 10 seasons of that, you become one of them. You get it? This literally you living. It's as they say, tell me who your friend is, and I'll tell you who you are, because people around you affect you. That's the same way everything you watch, everything you do affects you. Like, for example, back in time when I used to conduct debates, and then you were in there, being in there, and the way I talk to you impacts you, because you pick up something, even subtle things. Because I picked up subtle things even from Jakob, from Nodrike, my IELTS teacher. So those subtle things, happened to me, and then I happened to change afterwards. So English is a pathway. It's not just a language. It's a pathway to a broader world, because you cannot be locked up in only Uzbekistan, Uzbek and Russia.
Yeah, I get it. So I heard you talking about USA culture, or whatever, and a lot of people know, who are close to you. Actually, you do rap and stuff. So that's very, very interesting.
Music.
I was planning to talk about it as well. You write something and you sing as well. So can you talk about this career of yours?
It's not much of a career yet. It takes time. The day before yesterday, before coming to the center to discussing this podcast, I was like, rapping to myself, just like freestyling and thinking of lyrics, thinking of any like rhymes. I was like, even today, I remember that I was trying to tell it yesterday to Jakob. You know what I said? I said this. It's been 2 years since I've been. Okay, hold on. It's been 2 years since the then. I'm just rhyming right now. Just letting you know. It's been 2 years since then. I have always been against the grain. It takes. Hold on. Let me remember that.
Yeah.
Because what I mean is that it just takes time. It takes time to get somewhere. It's the same way with my music career. I'm not there yet. I'm no one yet, but I'm on a staircase. As the sign on the doorway, the staircase of the center says, there's no elevator to success. Take the stairs. That's what I'm at right now. It's been 2 years since I started writing lyrics. Yeah, it's been 2 years actually.
That's a lot.
Did you know it?
Yeah. I knew
It's been 2 years. It's a long time actually. If you think about it, it's a long time.
Yeah, sure.
And there's still a lot to go, because my writing style changes, my rapping changes. I went to the sessions with a singer and the guy who makes podcasts and the guy who teaches people how to speak, sing, open up their voice. I learned a lot from him as well, and it just takes time, right? So, okay, let me remember the rhyme. I just want to put it out there. It's been 2 years since then. Okay, it's been 2 years since then. I have always gone against the grain. I'll eventually get there. It takes time to be great.
That's meaningful.
You see? Yeah, because it takes time to be great. It's gonna take me as long as it is. My friend keeps saying, "Oh, when are you gonna finally record it? Oh, you keep saying next month. But I'd be like, I'll just take as much time as it's gonna take for me, because since 2 years I have written 5 songs, like full songs, that I have an album for. Actually, I won't say when it's gonna come up. If I say next month,
everybody's gonna be waiting.
It's not gonna be next month. It will take time. It might be a year, it might be 2 years, but I'll get there eventually.
Oh.
So my rapping, as far as it goes, is nothing yet. It will happen sometime in the future.
Yeah, but you still have the talent, right?
I mean, probably. I don't think I have a talent. It's more of a. I don't believe in talent. I remember the quote that says, okay, what's that?
Hard work beats talent.
Yeah, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Yeah.
Because I believe in that. I do believe in that. I never believed in talent. Even if it exists, there's more of you doing something about it. Let's say some people have talent in learning languages, speaking with an accent or something, but if they don't learn how to do it, they'll be sitting there with that talent which is not there. You get it? Because it's not shown, it's not used.
They gotta work on it.
Yeah.
Hard work is very
it's
important.
like, I don't know, it's just the way, like, I have a cup, but I don't use it for nothing, right? It's like having a shoes on the top of the shelf on your bedroom, which is like, let's say, a brand, like Nike, and it's expensive, but it's there, it's not used. So I don't see any purpose in it, right? If you have talent, you gotta work on it. You gotta still put in some work to, make it better, hone it.
Yeah, I feel you. So the next question is going to be about, your living, the job of yours of being a teacher, and afterwards moving to another job. What exactly do you do?
What exactly I do, That's the question I'm asked every day on the road by taxi drivers. No, for real, every time, because my work is late, and like it's actually evening shift, because it's American time, right? You can call it night shift, but it's a little bit mixed. So because of American time being vice versa to us, so I work at 6 o'clock. I work at a dealership. I buy vehicles, meaning vehicles like cars, trucks, because trucks are not just cars, vans. So what I do is I call people who advertise their cars on different marketplaces, and I negotiate over the price. Over the price, they set upon their car, and I just ask about the condition. I do whatever, and then negotiate over the price. I overall schedule some time to see the vehicle with the mechanics we have in the area, and we just call and get the car basically. So we purchase the car and put it in our lot. It's a big dealership. We put it on our lot and sell it eventually. So what I do is basically negotiate, buy vehicles. Okay. So I've been asked this question every day, like since I started working late at night. So because people know going to the center of the city, I don't live there. It's like an office. It's visibly an office, and then everyone asks, "Where you going?" I don't say logistics because it's not logistics, because it's a night shift, and they'd be like, "Are you going to logistics?" I'm like, "Well, yes." It's sometimes better to say yes rather than explaining what I do. But basically, I just talk to Americans, talk about their cars, buy their cars. I tell them I'm gonna buy this, like I promised them, and then that's what I do basically. I just buy vehicles.
So that's one of the doors English opens for you, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't have this job if I didn't know English, of course.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean you should only limit yourself with the language, because if I don't know let's say the parts of a vehicle, the parts of a car, imagine even the specific language regarding the vehicles, how would I talk about it, right?
Yeah.
That's even the smallest thing as calling a wheel. You know what a wheel is.
Yeah.
Basically, calling a wheel is a specific language. Engine is in the car. Engine is also a specific language. So English is a pathway to learn something specific. Okay.
Yeah, I get it.
It's like you ask a lot of detailed questions about the car. You talk about detailed things. Because English is not the only thing you will need at the job, but it's a pathway again,
yeah, pathway for everything, right?
Yeah.
So I get it. So now you talked about your career and everything, your job, which includes English, obviously. So do you have anything to recommend the youngsters studying English out there? What exactly to do to reach the level of yours or something?
I get this question a lot. It's like I even get this question from people who I work with, meaning they work with me, they know English, but they haven't been a teacher. You get it? So they haven't been teachers or anything. They didn't have this career, and most of them ask the question saying, I have this brother of mine, or I have a friend who's trying to learn English, and what would you recommend? Whatever I say is, go to lessons first. This is like the first thing. Okay, first, let's make a plan, right? Like
first
a
thing.
Plan. First thing, go to lessons. Whatever it is, English lessons here in the center or private lessons here in the center. Whatever it is either a private or a group. That's first. Second, practice what you did in a lesson. Practice debates, competitions. Just go with it. If it's a group, it's actually a little bit easier because you have somebody to talk to, because you have conversations and stuff. So first, learn the basics. Second, practice what you learned. That's really easy as that. And I would say third, try to how to put that in words. Try to use whatever you did back again. Let's say you learned some word, right? Like a vocabulary. You have to use this word in order not to forget. As I said in the beginning of the podcast, when you learn a language and then you don't use it for like a couple of years, you will forget it. So you'll have to use it again and again. Repeat the things that you've learned already, so you just get into it more and then you remember what it is, right? It's like if you don't swim for a while, like a year, you won't know how to swim. It's like it takes time to get back to shape.
Yeah, I get it. So that's everything you want to say to the students, right?
I would say, yeah, just learn the way it is, practice.
How about teachers' importance? Do you think teachers are very important? Showing instructions in different things?
It is as 30% important, I think, because the rest 70% is on you. Yesterday, my teacher Jakhongir said, "You remember back in time, I put in 30% in your English and 70% from you, but at this now." 50% is from me and 50 is from you students, because he's saying people are getting lazier. Well, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. It's obvious, But whatever it is, at this point, teachers have 50% of your English. I mean, 50% from them, 50% is you. You gotta practice what you do.
Thank you very much for every single answer for my questions. Our time is limited, unfortunately, so we're gonna have to say goodbye. Thank you very much for listening to us and the attention of yours.
Thank you, Ken.
Yeah, thank you, Barbie, for being here and accepting our offer. Thank you, everyone.
That's all.
See you.